Jamaica's just a small island, but the effect that its music's had on the whole of the world is immense.
20 million records come out of Jamaica every year, which is ridiculous. That's a phenomenon, you know, for the amount of people that are here. The place I long to be.
That's all we played was reggae music, and so it became a seriously big part of my life.
Just to see the girls I play.
It's the sexiest music in the world. When it's playing very loud and you can feel it, and you're holding on to a lady, it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling, you know. I mean, no other music moves me like reggae does.
UB40 are arguably the most successful reggae group in the world. Bob Smeaton's film tells the story of the group's formative days in Birmingham over 20 years ago, and how their subsequent success has given them the opportunity to meet and record with some of the artists whose music has been the inspiration behind their desire to play reggae music.
The choice of playing reggae music was the easiest thing in the world for us, because that's what we all loved as a, as a unit. Not to play it, but I mean just, just the choice of, of what sort of style of music. This is Trafalgar Road, and this is where we really got down to learning to play our instruments. But there's a house we're coming up to now on the right-hand side. It's actually this one here, this beige one, and there was a cellar downstairs which we converted, and we started, to learn to play. Oh, this pub here now, on the corner of York Road and King's Heath High Street, it's called the Hare and Hounds. It was actually the very first show that we played, and it was for a friend's birthday party. I think we did about a 40-minute set there, and that was really nerve-wracking.
Can you remember your first introduction to reggae music?
I didn't actually discover an existing form of music. I was listening to ska, which was Jamaican pop music. It was like American R&B, but twisted, turned around. And in fact, it was the same material, because almost everything that came out of Jamaica was a cover of an American song, an American R&B tune. So it was familiar in that sense, because it had the R&B feel to it, but it was the offbeat and the bass line,
Did the fact that it had these Jamaican roots, was that an exotic attraction? Did you find this was added to its attraction?
Absolutely, yes, of course. It was like nothing I'd heard before, and it was exotic because it was from a faraway country, and all these black people around me were playing it, I don't really know. I just thought it was the greatest thing I'd ever heard.
The immigrants who flocked to Britain in the late 50s, early 60s, took their music with them. And that is one of the interesting aspects of how that music seeped into the mainstream of British pop music.
All of a sudden there was a load of Jamaican kids in our neighbourhood, and then before you knew it, there was house parties every single weekend that started on Friday night, finished Monday morning. You just couldn't go anywhere in Birmingham without hearing it.
Was that your experience as well? Was it just the fact that it was all around and
I think so. It was new. It was the music of the youth. See, when I got into it, I mean, I was aware of ska and everything, and I own ska records, but I fell in love with rocksteady, really, which was when it slowed down.
She said, get ready, run, come to the rocksteady. She said, get ready. Oh, it's a sucker to me, baby. And all right, 'cause morning boy are getting ready to go rocksteady.
Well, after rocksteady comes reggae in roughly 1968, and that has really remained the kind of generic term for popular Jamaican music.
People didn't know the right name to call it, you know. Some people call it blue beats and other names too, you know. So when I say let's do the reggae, I didn't know that I was going to be the inventor for the word, really, as I saw it in the Guinness Book of World Record, you know. So that's what it is. It was just simple coming to the vibe, you know. It's a suffering vibe. It's a vibe of truth and right, you know.
Reggae got soul, got so much soul. Reggae got soul, got so much soul. One time I listen to the beat, move it and sing feet, yeah. Rock me by the line, yeah, yeah, yeah. All in time.
Although I'm not a musicologist to any kind and I haven't studied it, but I still get a feeling that reggae's contributed certain unique styles to music. And the first style, I think, was the one drop, which came out of ska. It started off as 4/4 and variations like any other form of pop music. Then they developed this one drop, which I think has stayed with reggae, and it's probably the most recognisable style of reggae drumming, which went kind of like this in the old ska days. It might not seem much, but when you bring the backing in,
Had you all been at school together? Had you known each other for quite a while?
We went to school together, you know, most of us, from the age of 11 sort of thing. But we found ourselves unemployed. I mean, we were unemployed for 3 years, you know, after being thrown out of school around about 15, 16. First year, of course, we wanted to get a job and couldn't in those times. We were the 1 in 10, you know.
I was the one. I was an apprentice electrician.
Yeah, and we were the other 9, right?
I got a deposit for a saxophone.
Yeah, so then after a while we didn't want a job, you know. After being unemployed for 2 years, when you're a kid like that, you know, and all your aspirations. I can remember being, you know, at the bus stop, you know, at 8 o'clock, having to go in and sign on every day because I was always late, thinking I'll never have a car, I'll never have a house, I'll never have anything, you know, and it's like, you know, built up a resentment sort of thing.
My arms enfold the document, pushing down my head. My eyes are black and lifeless with an underprivileged state. I'm the baker on the corner with no one's spare dime. I'm the job that never learns to read, 'cause no one's spare the time.